Welcome back, everybody, to the VGVN Next Randomness Release Tournament, day number 2. We're in the last group of the day, or last match of the day, excuse me, of Group A. It's been a long day so far, and we're trying to wind down with Hype versus Haibara. The winner of this match advances to the top 4 with Colento, Trump, and Taj. Now, it's been a very close day. Every single series has gone 3-2. Is that correct, Nimsh, as far as I remember?
Yeah, as far as I remember, it's really going to 3-2 almost every time today, and all those players are playing control decks. We haven't seen a single rush. Like every hunter is banned, and they always play paladin, priest, shaman, or warrior. So this is the current metagame for the best of 5 King of the Hill, and I like it. It's a lot of decisions. The games take longer, but on the other hand, we get more skill out of those players, and those small things deciding the outcome of the game, and a lot of Hearthstone also. Well, if the matches are longer for us, it's good because we just can watch longer and cast it longer, and we are the biggest fans of Hearthstone. Like, you know, being here and having fun and casting the games.
I think one storyline sticks out to me above everything else is it seems that people are having extremely close series across the board, except for one person. Colento has dominated his group 9-2, but with a very decisive score. And he also brings a deck that no one else seems to be playing, which is the token druid, or not the token, the fast combo druid that's featured by Strifeco with Shaded Naxxramas and Echoing Ooze. So maybe Colento's on something that we're not, or the rest of the people aren't.
You are making me excited for tomorrow when we will see Colento again facing versus Ice.
The second, he'll be facing the second place person of this, and then Trump will be facing the first place person. So that way, and it's on the opposite side of the brackets.
So it's either Thijs or somebody else, because we know that Thijs already advanced, right? It's certain.
If Hyped or Haibara win decisively, like 3-0 or 3-1, then they become first place seed. If it's 3-2. If it's 3-2, then Taj / Hyped will be tied, and Haibara will actually have a slight advantage, though, because I think he won 3-1. So in that respect, he's going to be in second place. Now, now that we got all of our tournament theory crafting out of the way, let's go ahead and jump to the ban screen and find out what Hyped and Haibara are playing for the final match of the day. Hyped, he's the one bringing Miracle Rogue, and the only person in the group to do so. But it seems like Haibara is going to finally take a different approach and ban Miracle Rogue, and that's going to allow Hype to play Hunter.
Oh my god, this is the first. This is the first time we'll see Hunter today, and Hyped will just go ahead and take Hunter, literally Huffer.
That name is so funny. Oh man, Hyped is clever.
Yeah, this is a cool thing. And by the way, guys, if you're joining us right now, and you missed a couple of games, a couple of matches, we are uploading all of the games to YouTube as we speak. So I think we are pretty far right now. So just type !YouTube. You'll get a link to the YouTube channel, and you can follow it. And after this match, because this is the last match for today, you can get back to YouTube and enjoy the games again, or maybe watch them for the first time if you missed them.
Right, you know, they've been trying to upload it fast for people who kind of come in throughout the middle of the day, and they're like, "Well, what happened? I don't want to see any spoilers. You know, is there any way to kind of catch up without going back to the Twitch VODs directly?" There is that YouTube channel that Onog is uploading in cooperation with Liquid Heart. You can find all of that information throughout their Twitters and social media. First match is about to begin between Hunter and Priest, a match that we've seen a few times in the other group, as people weren't as eager to ban Hunter as we thought they were, but this time, today is the first we'll be seeing Hunter as far as I recall.
Yeah, I agree. This is the first time, and Hype is playing the bow version with I think 4 traps. He is playing double freezing trap and only 1 explosive trap, which is different than the Hunters we've seen yesterday. And this start is pretty nice. He has Mad Scientist, he has the coin, he has the bow, and Savannah Highmane double kill command. Those cards might not be that useful right now, but they are excellent removal cards, and also you might use them as burst card when the game advances. On the other hand, Haibara, well, a 1/5 Northshire Cleric is pretty good if your opponent doesn't have a Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, you know, it's good enough to keep the draws going, which is very important. So that way, you're able to kind of draw into the removal necessary. There's 2 high mains that are out for hyped, which means gonna need like Shadow Word Deaths, you know, Holy Nova to kill off the hyenas. All these kinds of cards are very relevant, and so getting the Northshire Cleric to stick is very important for Haibara.
Well, he certainly wants to draw as many cards as possible, but being hyped in here, how do you counter this? If you just play Mad Scientist, then he will draw a card. Like you don't want Haibara to draw any cards in here. Dark Cultist is a huge draw. Well, he had one, but still, he's just developing his board. Now he has a turn 4 play, which is pretty important. He can follow up with Sludge Belcher and the turn 6 Holy Fire. This curve is pretty nice for a priest.
Yeah, it's good so that way he can kind of fill the board, but always in the back of your mind, you're kind of worried about Unleash the Hounds with Starving Buzzard, and Hype does have one piece of it already. But also, as another token, the fact is, Dark Cultist is double Dark Cultist is pretty resistant to Unleash the Hounds, because then he can't, or he has to have double Hunter's Mark. There's just a lot of health to play with here.
Yeah, it might be actually pretty tough to handle being a hunter. And how do you even deal with this? You'll have to play minions at some point, and now you turn 4. It's not really exciting. It's do you do something crazy like Haunted Creeper and coin kill command to kill the 1/5? I don't think so.
No, I think you're coining out a high main next turn.
Yeah, so you definitely keep the coin. But if you keep the coin, what do? You need to start playing cards. Mad Scientist is something that will net a card for your opponent, but on the other hand, if it's dead, maybe you will get a Freezing Trap, which might be cool. And he is running 2 Freezing Traps.
Yeah, now to the point where he's also fearful of Holy Nova. So dropping Haunted Creeper and Mad Scientist is actually pretty poor. In which case, the only play left is to use Kill Command directly on something and then just kill off something with the bow. So most likely Northshire Cleric, just by deduction.
It seems like a waste, right?
Oh, it does.
But you have to do it. You have to deny the draw. Your opponent has a cool board, but he only has 4 cards in his hand. So if you're able to outlast him and outdraw him, and you have all those good cards like Savannah Hymains that will give you value, because next turn if you play Savannah Hyman, your opponent will have to attack into it with both of his Dark Cultists, and you get the Hyenas, and then you play another Savannah Hyman. So in 2 free turns, you will go ahead.
It is accepting the fact that you'll take 12 damage though from this Dark Cultist, and that's why it's so powerful. The mana cost with its stats are absolutely insane. And with Holy Fire, hold on, let's see.
That's 14 points of damage.
Wow.
He can just go face. He can even play. He can ignore Savannah Hyman. This is an aggro
my
priest.
Goodness.
What is going on?
Wow. And this is the start that the priest really needs to kind of rush things down, compared to just having only spells early on.
And look at this. A lot of people said that Dark Cultist is one of the strongest card in Extremis, and here you can see the full power. Oh, this is the tracking.
Yeah. Seems like he's gonna choose for Animal Companion, so that way he can get something like Huffer.
Yeah, but it still doesn't save him. With the Dark Cultist, he wasn't able to deal with those minions one for one, and right now he's Hype is finding himself in a situation where he is not able to deal with this board effectively, and he only has 3 points of health.
Wow, this is kind of a cool editing trick to show what's selected. Although the choice isn't exactly still that obvious for Hyped, because how do you kind of capitalize on everything? You still don't have Hunter's Mark and Unleash the Hounds. You'll need a Taunter of some kind. No Houndmaster is really difficult to deal with too.
Yeah, I really would like to commend our production team in here, because most of the times we just miss the tracking, and here we could really see it and see the decision, especially because Hype was taking his time to pick a card.
I don't see a way out of this for Hype. He's just going to concede, and Hunter has been taken down by the Priest. And Haibara starts off to a 1-0 lead. One game closer to go to top 4.
Kami is speechless. everybody was afraid of Hunter. Everybody banned Hunter. And Haibara is the guy who said, hey, I'm fine with Hunter. I will ban your Miracle Rogue and I will destroy your Hunter with a Priest. And he does.
Very impressive. Now, Hyped will have to go to his Mage deck. And he has cards like Twilight Drake. I mean, this deck functions a lot, at least on the surface, similar
Like
to Handlock. So Twilight Drake and Giants can give the same trouble as it does with Handlock against Priest. So it makes sense. But wow, I don't think Hype was expecting Hunter to go down that quickly against what Haibara had.
Oh yeah, Hunter is one of the most powerful decks in the game right now, and a lot of people say it's even overpowered. That's why we've seen it being banned. And you expect it to steal at least one game. And right now he's facing a Priest with his Mage deck, and it doesn't seem that good. Also because he doesn't have any direct damage. So if Priest wins the board control battle, which is not that hard with Mind Control and Sylvanas and all the creatures they have, with the Dark Cultists even buffing the minions, I would say that Priest is actually heavily favored in this match.
Okay, well, I'm gonna lean towards the Mage deck here, just because of Cairn and Duplicate and Twilight Drakes and Duplicate, and just like the way you can kind of really make life hell for the Priest if you play your cards correctly. And I'm sure that everyone's well documented, or everyone knows the well documented struggles that Priest has against cards like these. And if you can replicate them and combine them with Giants and Ragnaros / Alex Straza as their late game, I think the Mage has a good shot here. But, you know, who knows? With a start like what Haibara had the previous game, maybe it's all irrelevant. Let's jump to the board and find out if Haibara can keep up this streak of momentum, or will Hyped be able to even it out and start impressing us with his Mage deck building again.
We can see Hyped having Arcane Intellect, which is pretty important. He also has a coin, which might be helpful for him, so he will be able to draw cards. On the other hand, Haibara has a pretty bad hand. Northshire Cleric is okay, but double Holy Fire is not something you want to have in your opening hand. You want those Dark Cultists. You want Injured Blade Master. Maybe he will be able to top deck them, but right now it looks grim.
Yeah, these are two of the most expensive cards in Priest's deck. Pretty unfortunate to get them. Another really expensive card. All right, well.
Bluffing, kind of.
Yeah, I guess at this point it's a little custom for Haibara to do it. At least he's doing it in the right order too, not attacking and then healing him. Some people have done that in the sake of BM. All right, what does this communicate to Haibara, by the way? Frostbolt as a response, passive moves, and it seems like when he's going to see things like Arcane Intellect, maybe it's a Frost Mage, but he has double Twilight Drake.
This might be devastating for Haibara. But he got to top deck. He has a 4/7 now.
And Duplicate.
Okay,
hey, what did I tell you, Nemch, about what this deck can do, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to lean towards your assumption that this deck is actually favored.
Well, to be fair, he got the exact card combinations that I was talking about that could give it a hard time. And for good reason, too.
Right now, Haibara is not even able to remove this guy. He's missing 1 mana. Lothab is an okay play. Just, you just denied the Duplicate, I guess.
Well, he wasn't going to play Duplicate anyways. I feel like, you know, Twilight Drake here is also just as good. Sludge Belcher is very weak and susceptible to the Lothab, so Twilight Drake makes the most sense.
It would be so funny if Hype actually plays a coin in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, funny because then we can make fun of him for it. But I guess not funny in the sense of, well, he ends up making a fool out of himself. All right, well, he's going to go for Sludge Belcher, which makes more sense mana curve-wise. Oh, and you know what? It prevents his ability to kind of push through anyways and lose a Drake for free.
By the way, the Drake is going down anyway. The question is how... Wait, is it? Oh yeah, it is. Would you Holy Fire a Drake?
Neither really matters, I think. Right?
Can you do anything with the Holy Nova here? That's the question.
Oh. You can actually heal. I'm trying to think if there's like a Holy Nova play here.
Yeah, I'm
But
thinking
I
about
don't
it as
think.
well.
I don't think there is.
Yeah, I think it's a Holy Fire into a Drake, and then just kill the 3/5 with Lothep and finish the 1/2 with a 4/7. You clear the board, and you still have a good minion.
It's just worth thinking about just to make sure to cross your T's and dot your I's.
Yeah, I guess the order doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Okay. So once Twilight Drake is out, there's still a second one and the duplicate.
So Twilight Drake coin duplicate would just they give Priest nightmares. Or if you're feeling confident in your ability to kind of fight everything, you can just kind of play passively. You do have double Molten Giant.
I do like Twilight Drake coin duplicate a lot. Knowing how hard it is for Priest to deal with Twilight Drakes. If you actually do this play, it's a pretty good call. And you are still safe on 25. It's even if the 4/6 attacks into you, Hype sees he has to see this play. This is like the best option possible.
Well, you're always looking to play your Twilight Drakes against Priest in general as fast as you can. 4/9 and 2 more potentially coming in. Haibara is a little bit wary now. It's like, well, what if this is Mirror Entity? What if this is Counterspell? Gosh, well, he's going to find out it's not Counterspell, and he can't kill off this Drake immediately. Although now he has duplicate of his own.
And the Arcane Intellect as well. This is pretty good for Haibara.
Kind of amusing. Duplicate, and then we have a battle of the 4 attack creatures. But the problem is that the injured Blade Master will not be able to keep up health-wise. And the quality of what Hype's able to push out, like Sylvanas coming out next turn, that's also a card that I don't think Hype minds getting duplicated.
That's why duplicate is so good in this kind of deck that Hyped brought to this tournament. Because instead of getting just small guys like Loot Hoarder or Undertaker or Mana Worm, you are always getting something good.
And guess what comes out after Sylvanas? Ragnaros? Hey, I don't think he cares about that getting duplicated. Like, there's just so many threats that Priest only has so many Shadow Word deaths.
What is Haibara thinking?
He's thinking, why is my wrist hurt so much? I should probably go get that checked out.
Yeah, the question about duplicate or Arcane Intellect is like, is he fine with with Injured Blade Master returning to his hand in 2 copies?
Yeah. Do you want your 2 cards to be Injured Blade Masters, or do you want your 2 cards to be from your deck? Pretty much the question at hand.
I think Injured Blade Master is fine, actually. Oh, wait, is this a Ragnaros turn? It's not.
Ragnaros can go so badly.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do this. You need to remove Sylvanas first. How can you remove Sylvanas?
Also, because you don't know if this is Mirror Entity. And if it's Mirror Entity and it copies Ragnaros, well...
I guess you can safely play Wild Pyromancer. And if it's not Mirror Entity, then... Well, Duplicate is so tough in here, because you could play Wild Pyromancer, attack with a 4/6 into 5/5. And... I don't know, play Arcane Intellect.
He is so afraid. No, he is so afraid of this being Mirror Entity. Because then again, you summon in Ragnaros for your opponent. It also could hypothetically go well where you kill off your opponent's Ragnaros.
Actually, whatever this is, Ragnaros is a bad play because of Sylvanas.
Exactly.
Wait, is he going to get roped?
No, come on. It looks like he's going to go for... I can't see why Ragnaros would be optimal in this situation as opposed to some other Wild Pyromancer play. And at least, like, cutting off your losses. But he's going to go for it. And Rag hits the face.
Oh my god. And now the Molten Giants are
this
enabled.
Board is going to be insane. Hyped cannot be... I mean, he is salivating at this moment. My god.
He's rolling his eyes. So wait a moment.
All right, so
Is there
you
a
can
board clear from?
double Molten Giant, polymorph the Force 6, and then kill it off with Hero Power, and then steal Ragnaros, and most likely you'll duplicate the Sheeps.
Yeah.
I like it. Make it happen, Hype. This is how I want. I want to give him 2 Sheeps. Okay. Well, he's gonna go for this play instead. It's a lot more solid because you don't use polymorph unnecessarily.
Yeah, but still, he has so many good plays in here. The thing I'm thinking about is there a way for a priest to actually clear when there is double Molten Giants on the board?
Oh, this also. Oh, yeah. I mean, this also makes sense too. Granted that he wants to keep Ragnaros as healthy as possible.
Haibara is back to excitement level, by the way.
Yeah, you know, he's got the damage. He's got the damage in hand, but he doesn't have the mana to pull off everything.
Hyped is under pressure now because Okenai plus double Circle of Healing is a board clear.
That is true, but you know, 2 of his cards are injured Blade Masters. So the chances of that are kind of low. Arcane Intellect, also a card that can draw into things. You really have to go for Circle of Healing here. But do you include Wild Pyromancers in the mix? Nope, it looks like Haibara whiffs. And he is looking at death next turn. He
Yeah,
didn't draw any Shadow Word Deaths or anything.
Is there anything he can do?
No, he needed like Shadow Word Death to be 1 card. No, he needed Shadow Word Death to be both those cards to survive.
He can remove the 4/5, and then he will get. Well, he will be dead. Isn't he dead whatever he does now? There's
Pretty
a polymorph.
much so. I think
Yeah,
because there's polymorph, and polymorph can just push through. And from that point on, Hyped is able to just run away with the game. So the E series has been evened, and Hyped once again showing that Mage should not be discounted from the metagame, especially if you're able to ban Hunter.
Well played.
Oh yeah, Mage is super strong if Hunter is actually banned.
Wow, BM, he kills the sheep.
I really like the fact how Hyped is using Molten Giants with no Taunt Givers. He's using them specifically as damage dealers. So it's really a different build than the standard Mage. Like when you see Dark Onyx playing Control Mage at WEC Qualifier, he was running Mountain Giants as well, I believe. And right now, this build is actually different, and it works.
Yeah, you know, it works because of like the disruption that it creates. You also have other taunters like Sludge Belcher anyways, so that way you're not like completely vulnerable. And then Ice Block in a way acts as a stopper in case they ever try to overextend and they can't get past your giants that way. Hyped, by the way, will go up against Warrior, a class that we thought gives Mage a hard time, but Hype's able to still beat it. So maybe he can defy the odds once more and go out to a series lead. If not, he's going to have to rely on his Warrior to end out this series. Haibara has pretty decent cards, I think, against whatever Mage can throw at him. But we've also seen Warrior some games like, Taj comes to mind. Taj had some of the unluckiest games I've seen in a while with his Warrior deck, and just cards did not fall his way, and yet he still advanced. So props to him. And Haibara will hopefully try to follow his footsteps with this Warrior deck.
I think like Thais actually won versus Hype with his Warrior, but mostly because Hype wasn't able to draw into his Arcane Intellect, so he went blank. But here, this is the similar case that we discussed against Handlock. If Haibara is going to draw into his removal cards and is able to effectively remove Twilight Drakes and other minions like that, then he will put himself in an advantage. But here, Hype can actually use this duplicate to his great advantage with whatever he plays, or whatever big minions he gets. So it seems like Hype actually has an advantage in this matchup.
All right, well, let's jump into the game and find out what happens next between these guys. The best of 5 has now come down to a best of 3.
For it.
And, you know, Hype's going to be looking for those draw cards early on. He's got Twilight Drake off the top, which is important.
And Mad
And
Scientist, which is also a great card. And Arcane Intellect. It seems like a perfect start for Hype. And he even
Haibara
gets
needs
a
a
coin.
little bit more. He needs his Execute to kind of push through, but at least he has something to do early game. Wow.
Well, Armorsmith is always nice. Armorsmith and a weapon and Lothab. Lothab is a pretty good card versus mages in general. But here, he even gets a duplicate. Oh my god.
He got double Arcane Intellect, Duplicate, and Twilight Drakes.
Sick. This is a sick hand. I'm not even sure if there is a better setup for Hyped right now.
Yeah, you know, the Mad Scientist could pull out a really important secret too. Like Duplicate, and then he coins out Twilight Drakes. Gosh, that could be so disgusting. It depends on how things pan out.
Not anymore.
I guess he's gonna pull Ice Blocks then.
Do you cast Duplicate now? I don't think so. I think it's still coin. Well, do you coin out the Drake? That's the thing.
The Drake or the Water Elemental, honestly. Water
Yeah,
Elemental
that's a
kind
good
of baits
question.
out Execute.
I think it's a question like, what would you like to get from Duplicate later on? And I feel like I would probably prefer Water Elementals because they are so annoying versus Warrior. It's really about like, okay, I coin out one creature here, and then I will cast the Duplicate after that. Is it possible for this minion to survive? Yeah, I think Water Elemental is actually a good decision.
All right. Well, Hyped also makes it so, let's see, what he attacked here, so that way can't use Cool Taskmaster, or he wants the Mad Science to proc. Either way, he's comfortable with giving his opponent one extra armor. And Haibara top decks Execute, which is an important card to have, especially against the incoming barrage of Twilight Drakes.
Yeah, Execute is so important because he will be able to deal with the Water Elemental right here before the Duplicate is being played. And I'm sure that Hype really wanted the Water Elemental to stay alive so that he can cast the Duplicate and then get more copies of it.
What now?
All right, well, Haibara seems like he wants...
Going to play a weapon.
Yeah. I thought he looked like he was going to signal to kill the Mad Scientist, but I'm like, why not just use a Death Spite here? Ice Block, by the way, will come out here for Hyped. He doesn't even have to guess what it is. There's only 4 secrets in his deck, 2 Ice Blocks and 2 duplicates. And this is interesting because now Haibara realizes, well, wait, he also has secrets in his deck that aren't duplicates.
True. This is new, so now he will have to play around. Lothab, a pretty strong card.
Yeah. It's like he can't play duplicate immediately, but it's okay because he still has Sludge Belcher.
A very strong turn 5 play, and he's getting ahead with his board. 4/5 Drake, a 3/5 Sludge Belcher, and Haibara still doesn't know which secret is that. Is it a duplicate? Is it Nice Block? A counter spell?
Well, it can't be Mirror Entity because he just played Lothab and he kind of snap called that. He's starting to get familiar with his Mage deck, which is very critical, so that way you're not surprised anymore about what's coming out.
He is going to clear in here. But he's getting low on cards, and there is no way for him to draw anymore. So he will be depending on a top deck. On the other hand, Hyped, he has a lot of drawing potential, and he's fine dropping low because of those Molten Giants. I would use an Aura Intellect. Why not? This is an easy turn.
Job's done.
All right, so everything comes 2 by 2. 2 pairs of freezes, 2 giants, 2 doomsayers, Hyped Arc, ready to set sail.
Armor made to fit.
True. It's not being flooded right now with all the minions, and Frostbolt is pretty nice for Lothab.
Well, this one's gonna last a lot shorter than 40 days, that's for sure. Alright, Doomsayer comes out, which makes total sense. Force your opponent to have something to kill it, but even then, he already used 1 Execute.
going to draw into something that's good versus Doomsayer.
Hmm.
I guess not. And playing Kern here is super tricky.
Man, unless you want to completely go YOLO and brawl to let Armor Smith win.
And you definitely not do it because this is a control v control matchup again, and you just have time. You can play Fireworks if you really want to.
Yeah, Harrison Jones not that common in Mage. Like even in those control mages, they really don't have the spot for something like Harrison Jones. They'd rather have something like Azure Drake to give him a draw. But he chooses to hold it anyways. He's got enough mana to play with on the next turn, so it's kind of inconsequential either way. Wow, Hyped hits none of his minions. That's a little bit bad for him because now he lost an opportunity to reset after Doomsayer.
And that's actually super weird because his deck is basically built for minions. Like there's a lot of minions that he could normally play, and he just didn't draw into any of them.
All right, Haibara chooses the shield block. A little bit of a sequence error, but not of a big consequence because it doesn't look like it'll change much.
Gets the Sludge Belcher, but then, well, I guess polymorph. Yeah, it's still like you don't need 6 mana for a polymorph. You don't necessarily need to kill the sheep. It's fine if you just create a 1/1 and pass.
Yeah.
Remember, never underestimate the sheep.
Well, in this one, I think it's okay unless you get nightmared by your Sarah or something, and then all of a sudden you're facing like a 6/6 sheep. I think it's okay to kind of underestimate this one.
Well, it's still golden. So Haibara decides to draw more cards, which is pretty reasonable. His hand is not that good, and he needs something to be able to push through this Belcher and deal more damage. He needs a way to win. He needs a clear strategy how to win this game. Right now, it looks pretty weird with 2 secrets and a Sludge Belcher that he can't kill.
Well, he knows one of them is duplicate for sure. I think the other one he's suspecting is Ice Block. If you see Molten Giants, I think Ice Block is a very good conclusion, even though he hasn't seen it activated quite yet. The question is whether or not you're able to get away with playing Acolyte here so you can get the mana out ahead of time, but then if you play something like Flame Strike, or even worse, like another Frost Nova Doomsayer, you get no draws off of this.
Oh yeah, Frost Nova Doomsayer would be devastating, but in case of Flame Strike, you're fine because you're just getting another card.
True.
So the sheep is down.
Oh no. Somebody alert the presses. Ooh, Alex Straza off the top. That's not too bad either.
Oh,
although it's funny
so
if you
much
have
damage.
2 Alex Strazas in your hand.
Yeah. There was this situation once in a tournament when a player couldn't play Alex Straza because it was bad in both ways, like healing your opponent or just dealing damage to yourself.
Yeah, he was at like 28 health and his opponent's at like 5.
Yes. You told like Alex Straza. So you can create those weird situations here, but Duplicate is going to trigger with the Sludge Belcher. And this gives Hype a lot of hand quality. Like those cards are so good, especially that he is at 10 mana points.
You want to use Faceless Heroes at 8/8 before you execute it?
Why not? Think about it. Well,
Yeah, what I like is that you often can't really get Faceless on your own creatures, but you can kind of use it to answer big threats while using your own removal.
well, you know, you clear the board and you get an 8/8. I like this setup. It's obviously tempting to be able to faceless your own Ragnaros, but I prefer to have an 8/8 to bait out removal and then play my Ragnaros after removal actually is being used. And you already seen one polymorph being used on Kern. I'll definitely use faceless.
Okay, well, he chooses to go for an even more defensive play. Seems like the unstable Ghoul has made an appearance. And Hype can kind of just continue building up, and that's what Duplicate gives him a lot of extra strength. Oh,
Doomsayer.
Doomsayer. Nah, I think Sludge Belchers are just way too strong here. They're automatically the strongest presence on the board now.
This board is pretty sick with double Sludge Belcher. And again, those cards are outside of his deck. Got them for free.
Well, it cost 1 deck slot with duplicate, but yes, it's a way to continue to put on pressure.
I feel like duplicate on Sludge Belcher is so strong with regards to the overall card and board quality. Normally, your opponent has to use so many cards to deal with this, and the tokens that they produce.
Yeah, it's often kind of like a miniature version of Karen in a way, but you can slide 2 of them on the same turn, and then copy them and like force out a bunch of removal. The 3 attack and 5 health is just the perfect balance without making it way too strong. Ragnaros makes an appearance. And if it hits the face, that could be bad news. Ooh.
He hits the Belcher.
Activated the Giants.
Yeah, that would definitely be bad news for Haibara. Now, do you Frost Nova?
I guess not.
It's just a reflex. You just play Doomsayer and hey, I need to play that Frost Nova. But hey, you don't have to. It's cool. Kern is... Well, wait, Kern? Do Kern?
Well, Karen is insurance in case this Doomsayer dies. He already used 2 executes, right? But he still has access to Shield Slam.
It's not bad. It's actually not bad because even if Doomsayer is not being destroyed, you still get a 4/5 out of it.
That sounds pretty clever to me. Haibara, by the way, he picks up 2nd Sludge Belcher, so he can also turn 10 this and play defensive and let Ragnaros snipe, but that also makes him weak. It has to have the 1 in 4 chance to hit the Doomsayer. Even if he faces Manipular on Ragnaros, it's still a 40% chance it hits where he wants.
Sure. There's a couple of really sick plays in the year. It's like you can faceless the Ragnaros and hope that actually you will kill the Doomsayer with double. Also, you can brawl and hope that the Doomsayer survives and destroys Bane token after the brawl. And
oh, that's true.
There's a couple of funny plays.
That's actually really funny, where you can go for your opponent's board clear. All of them require a little bit of RNG on your side.
You can also just armor up and pass because anything else is weird.
Yeah, anything else is a little risky.
I feel like you don't want to make an RNG decision in here.
I mean, I would love it. Double Ragnaros, you go for 2 shots. Oh my goodness, he's going for it. All right.
This man is very brave.
He's dual wielding. He's even going all in Sludge Belchering. Oh no.
Smiling. This
dual wield
is so
Ragnaros.
risky. Sick.
Oh, it hits one of the Sludge tokens.
Oh my god,
and it snipes the 0/7 Doomsayer.
High risk, high... This was the biggest high risk, high reward play I've ever seen.
Wow.
And he actually got it. He nailed it.
That was 1 out of 4 chance. 1 out of 5 and 1 out of 4.
Hype will be able to duplicate his Cairn, which is also pretty nice.
How does he deal with these Ragnaroses, though?
Well, Doomsayers are out.
Cairn can only absorb 1 blow, and as much as you have duplicate, it still requires a lot of mana.
I'm still amazed by the Ragnaros play. So for our viewers who are watching this, if you didn't know what to feel about Haibara, I'm sure you love this guy right now.
At least he's willing to take chances. I mean, that's what it is. You're tied 1-1. You're in a series that determines whether or not you advance to the top 4. Hyped at this point is just like, he's mad at what just happened. He's like, gosh, I don't know what else to do. Like, he has to set up for a potential Flame Strike top deck.
Yeah, he's in a really weird spot. He can't play those Molten Giants. Blizzard doesn't do anything because those guys are just turrets and they are just firing, purging hype by fire.
Well, he can Blizzard and Hero Power down 1 Ragnaros next turn. Oh, but then Fiery War Axe allows him to pick apart. And now it gets the situation where Hyped is going to lose his board most likely, unless there's going to be double Ragnaros to the face and put Hyped at 6.
Oh man, this board is so strong. And there still is this brawl, like even if... Okay, that's the face.
Okay. So Hyped is still kind of at a point where he can't double drop Molten Giants.
This is so, well, he has an ice block. That's something.
That's
But
true.
here, wait, he
And he-
can drop the Molten. He can drop both Molten Giants and Frostbolt the Ragnaros. That's
Yeah, that's true.
still a valid play.
Hmm. Seems like his only course of action, honestly. And
Double-
Haibara still has a... Let's see. If he picks up a way to activate Gromosh, like Cruel Taskmaster, or anything, he can just end the game. Or not, sorry. He can proc Ice Block to set up for the end of game.
Alexstrasza is so funny. You can actually play it. And he is going to
Alexstrasza
play
on
it.
yourself.
I bring light.
Or even on him. Wow.
It doesn't make any
Alright.
sense, but
I
okay.
guess, why not? Make him live with 8 health instead of 7. A little bit of a BM finish if possible. But he hits one of the giants instead.
What is Hype going to do with this solitary Molten Giant? He will develop the board, but wait. How is he going to win from this spot? He needs a clear. He needs to get rid of this board.
What to do?
And that 1-2 slime is so annoying.
Well, the ice block will most likely be procced if he didn't use his blizzard, so he needs to. As much as he wants to play something like Sylvanas, Ragnaros needs to hit something like the 4-5.
By the way, imagine this board. You're facing... Imagine this board in a room. You're facing a big dragon flying in the room and big Ragnaros, and you have this giant, and you want to attack into one of them, but you can't because there is a small slime blocking your way, being this giant.
Oh, it pops the ice block. So now
That's a
Hyped
nice
is
hit.
potentially on his last turn, unless a miracle comes here.
Cone of Cold.
Cone of Cold,
Sick.
but he can't stop the ice block. He can't stop the Death Bite from attacking him straight to the face. And Hype
it.
seems to be out of here.
Thinking of conceding.
You will
And he does concede. This is
Wow.
it. Haibara takes this
Oh.
game.
Hype is mad. The salt is pouring down heavily in California, as far as I can see. He is not happy with how that turned out. And he is
Well-
going to have to resort to his warrior deck in order to pull himself out of here. Haibara is 1 game away from advancing to the top 4.
Well, I have to say, like, that Ragnaros Faceless and Slash Butcher play was the best play in this tournament so far. And it really gave him an edge. It paid off. And right now, Hype is also, you know, kind of salty. And he got the mind blow as well because he lost the game where he was really unlucky. And he might feel bad about it. He's down to his warrior deck. So this is his last deck to face a warrior. And it's a mirror deck. So it's a coin flip again. It's not that he has a good he has advantage. It's basically a coin flip. Like looking at those lists, they are really pretty similar. Also, Hype is not playing Brawl, and we talked about it. We talked about this before. With no Brawl in here, it might be tough. Like even though Brawl is best versus Shaman decks, with the new build of Warrior, with all those Sludge Bouchers, there's always a couple of minions on board, and you get those slimes. So if there is a couple of good minions and a couple of 1-2 slimes with taunts, Brawl is the perfect card. You get good odds on as a removal.
All right, well, now we go into game number 4. This is elimination game for Hyped. Haibara, if he wins, he advances and joins Thais, Kalento, and Trump, and is the only open qualified player to be in the top 4 of VGVN series thus far. Let's hop into the game and see how this Warrior Mirror stacks up. Both have very late game centric decks. Hype doesn't even run Brawl, by the way, just to kind of remind people once again.
Well, that's why I ranted about Brawl being important. That's
I
because
know.
he's not playing one. And the starts that those players are having are pretty good for both sides. Oh, there's a Black Knight as well. So Hype is not on a coin, but he has important cards. He has Armor Smith, he has Acolyte of Pain, Death's Bite, a pretty good start for Warrior. On the other hand, Haibara can mirror it easily with Sludge Pilcher as an addition. But then again, there's this Black Knight from Hype. So, well, we can have kind of like an active start, let's say. Mostly,
Really?
this matchup is like about armoring up, right?
armor.
I'm
made
really curious why he coined out Armor Smith. Because the coin represents the ability to kind of get ahead of the curve just a little bit. Like, see it as a miniature version of Innervate, and you only get one, so the fact is that you're going to put out this early. What are you trying to get ahead of? I'm actually really curious about this.
I think he wanted to go aggro. Like, he felt like
Okay.
he risked that there is no Fire War Axe. So he wanted to play Taskmaster, and he wanted to start dealing damage as fast as possible. Because he has kind of like a mid-rangey hand. But right now, well, Hype was able to top deck the Fire War Axe and actually get an advantage here.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you know, there are two ways to take the lines in Warrior vs. Warrior. One's more aggressive, but I feel like you're coin flipping once again without any information versus you can recognize that you can be aggressive based off of a passive opening and then start to try to push and pressure. It's a risk that didn't pay off, and now Haibara basically lost this armor smith nothing, and he's gonna be very far behind the card draws when this acolyte starts popping.
Certainly in hindsight, it seems like this, but this is a difference of playstyle, and he is a player that really loves to take the risks. And this time it didn't pay it off. Last time it did pay off with Ragnaros. So you know, it's definitely a playstyle decision. Okay, and well, Hyped, thanks to that play from Haibara, Hyped is in a pretty good situation. He can remove that Armor Smith, draw a card, get 1 point of armor. He still has the Fire War Axe, and he puts himself in a pretty good position with double Sludge Belcher and that Black Knight.
I think so. The quality of his hands continuing to improve. Just needs to kind of pair together some follow-up to these drops. Like late game, I mean, he'd be good. Maybe also some removal, executes, and shield slams. Meanwhile, back in Haibara's camp, it seems like he has some answers to this, but no matter what he puts out, this Acolyte still has drawn cards, and he's facing an awkward situation here.
Yeah, it's hard to say who is going to win this game at this point, but it seems like Hyped is actually having an advantage with all the cards. But this is the mid game will be important, but actually it will all come down to the big guys. Because as you can see those.
I think one thing that's really nice is that Hyped is actually getting a lot of mileage out of his smaller guys. I mean, the Acolyte, sorry, not the Acolyte, the Armorsmith actually died very easily to the Death Bite. But because the Sludge Belcher will take the hit, it's going to allow the Acolyte to draw again. Versus, it seems like Haibara's smaller creatures really hasn't done much. He's just kind of holding it in his hand until he gets better value.
And this is the game of value right now. Just get armor, get some board, and also exhaust the removal if possible. Ramage, now his hand improved immensely, and this Black Knight is going to do a lot of work.
All right, Hype starting to continue to push his lead. And, you know, Haibara, again, it's just these small little things he's falling behind on getting the worst end of trades. And his hand still feels a little bit more on the awkward side. Now he can finally play other creatures like his Gnomish Inventor without fear of anything else. In the past, he played Gnomish Inventor, he was just afraid of it drawing cards and getting armor. But now it's like the Acolyte's drawn already. How much are you going to try to deny its last draw? There's no point. Just play the minion and draw. But now Hyped has full board presence.
Yeah, on the other hand, in Gnomish Inventor, it's not very exciting. Just a 2/4, but Hyped can actually even ignore it. He doesn't have to attack into it. The thing is, like, how much Hyped is afraid of brawl, of a possible brawl, because this turn, if he plays a minion, he will be overextending. And Haibara, well, he just has to play whatever. If you just armor up, is it a signal, hey, I have a brawl?
If you armor up, well, okay, you've taken a long time here on the 2, so it's clearly like something like a 2-drop of some sort, whether it's Cruel Taskmaster or Unstable Ghoul. There's nothing else really that jumps out to mind. I don't think it shows if you have Brawl. I think it's more of indicative of what kind of 2 mana cost card you have.
Well, right now, Hyped is in a good position with a solid board and a Grommash finish. He even gets Carson Jones for a possible weapon.
All right. Well, I like the process of setting up your own weapon, or Yeah, I like the weapon for the clear.
I think the weapon is good in here.
I'm invincible.
I like weapon on turn 8. Because then you will be able to attack with it on turn 8 and attack with it on turn 9, activating Grommash as well.
Yeah, it makes sense to most be able to pressure and also answer whatever card that comes out next. Say like Lotheb or another 5 health creature, Sludge Belcher #2 comes out. Deathbite just is so versatile. You gain armor too in the process. What can't this card do, honestly?
There is a Brawl top deck, so for Hyped it pays off that he actually used the weapon instead of overextending with something like Sludge Belcher.
That is a good point. And you know, it is one of those things where if Hype gets careless, he can throw away a lead very easily. And this Brawl can bring Haibara back in the game. Also, Ysera, one of those really important legendary cards. If you can exhaust the executes, it brings you back in the card count and gives you lots of creatures and threats to play.
I feel like in this matchup there's a lot of traps. Like, you have to really think about the possible cards and removal that your opponent might have, and weigh your options. Try to push with damage a bit, but still just keep your advantage to the certain level so that they won't be able to just swap the board on you. And it seems like Hyped is doing exactly that. Right now, well, he can kill Lotheb with a weapon, or he can just go yellow mode as well. Wait, how much damage is
Force
this?
your opponent to have the execute.
10, 14, 18, 20 points of damage. Well,
Wow.
that's a lot.
Bring him down to 20, and if you can't deal with it, I mean, you have Grommash and Faceless next turn anyways. Oh, you got to attack with the... okay, a slight little misstep here for Hype. Missed 1 damage.
Oh my god, the slime is dead. No.
Yeah, he missed an opportunity to sneak in 1 damage here.
Do you think he's playing around Molten Giants?
Yeah, probably, or something like that.
Well, it happens. It's you're tired. This is a second.
Oh man.
The 3rd match he's playing. And,
Yeah, you know, Haibara came off the open bracket, and then he kind of went straight into these matches. So a pretty difficult situation. He has no execute, so he has to go for the brawl, trying to get this cool Taskmaster to win. But if this Grommash survives, that is actually game right there.
Oh my god, this moment.
Oh, the cool Taskmaster survives. Oh man.
Oh my god, this RNG.
Oh, insta-call Ysera. Please give him the
Haibara
card
is
that
so
wins. That's
happy.
what he's thinking about. And then Haibara, he still needs execute. He's still not out of the woods just yet.
By the way, this is one of the traps I was talking about. You can step on it, and then you're in a really weird situation. You've dealt a lot of damage. You might feel good about it, but then again, there is a shield block. There is armor up.
Wow.
And I think it's still try to fetch something. Well, you need to execute.
You need to execute or something to deal with this area. You can't just match it card for card because, well, he did use Grommash though. So how much are you afraid of burst? How much can he kind of have from hand?
But Ysera is annoying though. And
True.
Ysera can give you burst. Like Ysera can give you Ysera's Awakening. Or even like a Dream is super annoying. Because then you play your endgame cards and they just get returned. Oh, Ysera.
Well, check this out. He also has Faceless and Execute. Double Execute. He's got the cards that Haibara wishes he had.
He has Alex Strauss as well.
I mean, I don't
Faceless
see why
Ysera.
not.
Okay, I'm so
3
hyped
Yseras.
that we are
Oh my
actually
God.
seeing Ysera again. Like Ysera was gone from the metagame for some time. She was being used some time ago, like a couple of months ago. But then she was just gone because we had a super fast metagame. Ysera was one of the worst cards.
Give me 3 Nightmares. Oh, that'd be so crazy. It's like the slots machine. Ding, 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 ding. 3 Nightmares and 15 damage.
Double Ysera is pretty nice.
Well, Haibara doesn't have second brawl here, and he still doesn't have execute. This is pretty unlucky for Haibara. He doesn't have the removal he needs to deal with this. Been drawing weapons.
How do you defend against double Ysera?
Well, you can shield block to see what you get. I'm actually
Second brawl.
surprised he hasn't resorted to that first. You also can use Gromash as removal in this spot too. But he wants to, he wants to gain the armor, I guess, in case he gets shield slam.
Oh, so he's just going to play the Sludge Butcher. Well,
Is this enough damage, by the way? Well, is this enough damage?
I don't think so, because
Yeah.
there's double taunts, like a 3/5 and a slime.
Yeah, Sludge Belcher again, so annoying.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Well, he couldn't deal with 2 Yseras. You think he can deal with the Ragnaros too?
I would wait.
Well, I think
playing Ragnaros in here is weird. Well, you can overextend with minions because you know one brawl is out of the way, and you would not expect your opponent to actually play double brawl.
Hyped has so many dream cards. And now he's got a speaking of dream cards, he's got a dream, so now he can sap one of those cards effectively and also push for damage. Haibara draws Ragnaros, but he still can't deal with the overall threat that he's at 18 health, and he's staring at 16 on the board.
By the way, Ysera is one of the best legendary cards in a control versus control matchup.
Oh, absolutely. This needs to hit something, but if it hits the 4/9 Ysera or the face, it's going to be completely useless, and the Hyped is going to be able to finish it off here.
This is
certainly has a damage. He's got Kale with the Zod. He can make this fancy if he wants to.
No, there's no BM. He still needs to win one more game. I guess he just counts it so that there is no mistake.
Ah, all right. 2 out of 10. Could have done way more than that. But you know what? The most important thing is he got the win. If the series is tied and we're going to Game 5, I think it's an appropriate way to finish out this group because we've been going to Game 5 every single series except for one, I believe. And now it's going to come down to one Paladin versus Warrior game to determine who goes to the top 4.
A game we've seen a couple of times, and a game that requires a lot of skill as well. And it's hard to say which deck actually has an advantage here, because this game can go to fatigue. And both decks have a lot of threats, both decks have a lot of things to do. The only problem I see is that Hype doesn't have the Brawl, but he was expecting a Paladin deck, and he actually decided that Brawl is not necessary against this matchup. So I will have to trust him on this, and I don't know. Maybe we should actually start the game.
All right, it's time. And we're going to find out who goes to the top 4 starting now, as the opening mulligans are just about to begin for Hype versus Haibara. And keep in mind that there is more on the line than just some money. It's also an invite to the next tournament if you get to the top 2. So these guys certainly want to kind of continue to prove their names and continue wanting to prove that they're one of the best players in Hearthstone. Haibara, again, from the open bracket, has come this far. He's 1 game from qualifying to the next round.
And this is our match point. And by the way, guys, one of those guys will be a winner and will qualify to the top 4. If you want to be a winner yourself, type !giveaway and then follow the link. You have to actually follow the link for the PC giveaway to enter to win the raffle, which will be resolved at the 3rd tournament it will have. So giveaway, follow the link, and then you will have a chance to win after entering.
Yeah, and don't forget that the YouTube VODs will be posted directly at youtube.com/OneNationOfGamers. You know, Onog and Liquid Heart's been doing a good job organizing everything so far. The administrative process, I heard, was pretty flawless in terms of getting everything else and being able to have a good turnaround for production of the games. So, you know, they've been doing a good job and good effort, so make sure to commend them whenever you can on their websites as well as their social media. All right, it looks like we're getting, I think the next game is about ready to go. So let's jump into the board and see how these opening hands are determined. Warrior versus Paladin, a matchup that we've discussed several times throughout today, but none more important than right now because it determines who is going to be in 2nd place here for the group.
So this time Hype is getting a coin, and well, this hand is pretty mid-game heavy. He's getting Fire Warriors, he has the Ghoul, which is okay, but he didn't get his Acolyte. And on the other hand, Haibara, well, this looks good with Harvest Golem and a Sludge Belcher. I like this hand.
Yeah, it's nice. It kind of misses maybe a true silver champion to curve everything else out really well, but you've got some decent early game to start off.
By the way, it's super funny that those hands actually don't mean that much. It seems like because when we are talking about aggro versus aggro matchup, the starting hand is absolutely the most important thing possible. Also, if you're playing control versus aggro, starting hand is super important. But here, the game, you know, the players will play a couple of cards. They will have some action till turn 5, but the real game starts around turn 5, turn 6. This is where they actually put their guns out, and then, well, the next turns, those are the power turns. And everything happens there. So even if you get a really bad start, if you draw into those mid-game cards, you might be able to like turn around the game and actually win in the end.
Yeah, but that also doesn't mean that the early game is unimportant whatsoever. You know, the fact that you're able to get a couple of draws out of Acolyte, that you're able to fight really effectively card for card, also is really good, because then it can save you an opportunity of having to use removal. Like, say, for example, this Sludge Belcher comes out, but then the Warrior's prepared with, like, Cruel Taskmaster and Fiery War Axe with whatever combination comes out, then you don't have to use something like Shield Slam or Execute. You can save her something much more intimidating.
Oh, yeah, certainly. It's good to have the cards, and it's good to have the answers. So even though it seems like it's not that exciting in the beginning, the decisions still matter, and you need to sequence your cards in the correct order.
Then how about this decision? Is Haibara willing to drop a one-attack minion to feed the Acolyte? Another draw. It's one that's... It's, again, you don't want to give cards unnecessarily to your opponent in these control matchups, because it gives them more options to pick more efficient cards for removal. And you also might run out of threats compared to them.
I think it just passed. And I feel like Haibara was in this situation for the first time, and he made a good decision again. Like, the turn, a meaningful turn, like turn 3, turn 4, where the only action available to you is just hero power, or not even hero power, just pass. And it shows like that he's actually a good control player, because he makes correct decisions in those key turns where a player of a lesser quality will just hero power and you know, and maybe even play unstable ghoul.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Haibara basically gave up 4 mana, but now he has ways to kind of put down a much more intimidating minion. Silencing the Acolyte feels a little bored, just because of the Fiery War Axe basically collects another free card, and then the Acolyte can kind of be compensated even though it drew 1 card. So I think Sludge Belcher makes much more sense.
Yeah, I like it as well. Well, actually, the Slime will be a card that will give Hype 1 more card, so he is getting Acolyte value. But on
Hype
the other
has
hand,
some of the strongest cards coming up soon, though, and also not to mention his Warrior does run Kael Tazad that we just saw. So in terms of like the late game power, it got a lot of it.
I really hope that we'll actually see this Kael Tazad in action. I'm still hungry for Kael Tazad shenanigans. And we haven't seen Kael Tazad doing much in this tournament. We've seen him once. But other than that, he was mostly staring at an empty board, looking kind of sad.
Yeah, the Kael Tazad revived the 5/5 Ancient of War, and that was pretty anticlimactic in terms of like the board impact. And you know, Admirable always called it a checkmate card, but it felt like you know, an oops card, because it really didn't impact. We thought it was going to create a 5/10 taunt again.
Yeah, we hoped. And you know, it's like also interesting, and it proves that it's really important to play as many games as possible, because you get those experiences. If you don't know how it works, you have to test it. You have to see it for yourself, because there is no rulebook that will actually tell you, hey, Kael Tazad works like this, so the Battle Cry won't work. And it's not the exact copy of a minion. It's just a vanilla card.
All right. Haibara thinking about whether or not he wanted to drop Unstable Ghoul so that he could protect the Spellbreaker. but there's probably better uses of it. Death Bite on the top for Hype to go again, more efficient and be able to fight very.
Yeah, so Hype continues to have advantage in here with a Karn. Even though Karn is silenced, it's it's still a pretty good minion. And Weapon also pretty good. And he might set up the board to actually use the Kel'Thuzad at some point.
Yep, still a couple of turns away, but in the meantime, he sets it up so that way it's very difficult to use like True Silver and then attack with the Silver Hand Recruit to kill off the Silence Cairn. Meanwhile, Haibara draws second equality, which is, again, really important for these control matchups, so that way you're able to reset the board, but that still won't come into play for a while. And Avenging Wrath will sit there as his primary way to combo off equality, leaving him just a few choices this turn. Guardian of Kings or Aldor Peacekeeper play.
Makes me sad because then Kel'Thuzad is actually useless. But right now it's a hard choice for Haibara. Do you want to just play Guardian or do you want to play Peacekeeper into turn? Doesn't actually do anything because you will just lose your board. You will lose whatever you play. You put yourself in a weird situation.
Yeah, it seems like you'll lose your board in either direction because of the unstable ghoul. Like if the Guardian Keems comes down, then the Death Bite does 5 damage plus whatever the unstable ghoul is. And then the Elder Peacekeeper just gets cleared by the weapon alone.
It's more about exhausting removal again. So you play those cards so that your opponent will use the Death Bite, will deal damage, and clear, so that next turn you will be able to play Guardian. And if Guardian is cleared again, you will be able to play Ragnaros and hope there is no removal for that guy.
Okay, Hype draws into his Alex Straza, so he's got a good kind of get his win conditions in order.
He has a lot of good cards. He has Sylvanas that he can play if he really wants to. Like play Sylvanas on an empty board, especially because she will be up, behind the taunt wall. Just clear the free one and a 1/1 and attack with whatever he has. So setting up a very strong board. Obviously, this board can get equality, whatever, and be cleared. But then again, that's one equality out of the way, and losing this board is not that strong. So if equality is being used on Sylvanas, I would be fine with that play.
All right, well, it seems like he can get some value off Taskmaster, kill things off, and then set up for a really nice kill with the Zod.
Saving his weapon, interesting.
Oh, it makes sense. There's much bigger fish in the ocean for him to fry here.
On the other hand, he has
Blood
a second
Belchers.
weapon.
Ooh, Harrison Jones off the top for Haibara. There you go. That's a card.
Yeah, it does something. I mean, it destroys the weapon, which was saved for the better times, and you draw a card. So maybe you will be able to draw into something. It's by the way,
good
it's
to
funny.
me.
It's funny
But-
how you can get equality Harrison Jones in specific situations.
Full clear with Harrison Jones. What can this card not do?
He is so flexible. Okay.
You know, actually, Unstable Ghoul is really important to play around Kel'Thuzad at this time. Because if he doesn't, then everything suicides into Harrison Sage's hero powers. Then
You get a
Kel'Thuzad
Kern.
actually gets Cairn back with a Cruel Taskmaster. And you're forced to equality consecrate, but then he has full Death Rattle in effect again.
But
This is a
do you
good
really-
read from Haibara.
Yeah, this is a pretty sick read because now he created a situation for himself where Kel'Thuzad just doesn't work that well. It's still a nice card, by the way.
Yeah, it's still an intimidating force. That's for sure. But you're still setting yourself up for an easy kill if he like True Silvers and kill the Zod to a Harrison Jones with paid for himself, as well as a half of weapon charge. It doesn't feel that valuable, so he's gonna go for the Sludge Belcher. Like much better alternative.
No execute. Okay. It's funny how he wants to protect this 1/1 current. Did he forget to attack with it, by the way? I think he actually missed 1 damage.
And the history, it looks like he did attack. He attacked into the unstable ghoul, remember? It was his
Oh,
cool
yeah, sure.
tasker for 2 damage.
Gotcha, yeah.
Alright, Lotheb is drawn for Haibara. He gets a full clear with Consecration. But then he can Lotheb on a clear board. Maybe not so bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm thinking about other options as well. If Ragnaros might be interesting in here. I guess not. I guess you want to do something else.
Yeah, I think
Guardian.
Lotheb is pretty decent here. Guardian's not bad either, honestly.
Well, whatever you play, it's still removal bait.
Yeah. You know, you're kind of sad, you know, if as the warrior player because you didn't get Kel'Thuz's odd value. But you do have something. You have a free ability to play Alexstrasza anyways. And now kind of put the paladin on a must-remove turn.
Well, he will have 3 quality Avenging Graph.
Well, don't doubt what Haibara can do. He might go for a Ragnaros.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, he can equality and attack into it. Because the 5-1 is still something that is easily removed.
He definitely needs to equality here. It's absolutely out of the question. No time for YOLOs, at least in this moment, Haibara.
I guess trade is fine. Can he do something? No, he doesn't have enough mana. A fun play would be equality, then Avenging Graph, and then silence your own Lotheb to get it back to 5-5. But there is not enough mana for that. I guess you have
is he
to go.
seriously considering Ragnaros? If he misses, he can die because of a cool Taskmaster and Gromosh, or any kind of Gromosh proc.
Do you think is Haibara actually a
Oh
mad
my
scientist?
god. Does he have, or is he gonna, oh, okay, so never mind, he's gonna quality and then Ragnaros, I guess.
No,
Nope, he's gonna play safe. Alright, I like the safe play. It makes total sense. You can't die to something silly and shenanigans, and you also put out a legitimate threat.
Yeah, and Guardian's
Hype
so much
picks
better.
up Ysera off the top.
Now he can equality and Spellbreaker.
Ah, you're right. You can silence the minion that just got equality and push through, but then you're using your second equality.
But it's just a cool play, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a really cool play.
Because now you're facing the 4-12. I don't know. I mean, the 4-12 doesn't do that much, I guess. Well, it will kill the 4-3, so I'd probably prefer to have a 5-2 on board and a 4-3 and on an empty board. But then again, you're right. Like equality is out of way, so you don't have any ways to remove stuff if it's being played. And with Avenging Graph equality, you put yourself in a situation where you can easily clear your opponent's board and push with damage.
Ah, well, I like the setup for Death's Bite, so that way you can set up for lethal next turn with Gromosh. I thought he was gonna keep the Dream in case he wanted to go. He wanted to like sap one of the taunt givers, maybe like Tyrion. But it seems like he's going for more of a defensive play here, so that he can set up a potential lethal. He still has Execute too. In fact, with Execute and Shield Slam, he should be able to kind of kill whatever taunt comes out here.
This is why Warrior is so strong, by the way. This is a sick combo. With Execute and Gromosh, he can potentially play even like a Shield Slam. He can Shield Slam a Slime. He can execute the... Wait, okay, it's action.
Needs a lot here. Haibara... He needs to equality Avenging Wrath in order to survive this turn? Or does Guardian of Kings save him?
Can you equality still? No, I don't think so. You have to keep equality. How much damage is there from Hyped? There is a weapon
There's 20.
plus Gromosh. That's 14. Yeah.
Oh, there's 21, excuse me.
21.
There's 21 damage,
21 actually.
at least with the Gromosh. And healing with Guardian of Kings would put you slightly out of range. But still doesn't improve your board position enough. Equality Avenging Wrath? Or is he going to quality Tyrion?
Equality Avenging Wrath. Do you like this play?
Well, this is the way for him to survive the best because it fully removes Well, it almost fully removes
Well,
the
there's-
entire board. He actually left out this 1/1.
There's 15 points of damage incoming.
Or if he picked up the Cruel Taskmaster, that would have been game here too.
I think you actually play a Ragnaros in here. It's certain 8 points of damage, and for the next turn you will have a lot of other options. Or do you
Yeah, I
go
like the
yellow
damage
mode?
guaranteed. You know, I still like keeping Gromosh, Execute, and the Death Spite against whatever taunt may come. But then, are you afraid of a faceless manipulator on your own?
Well, if you have a faceless, then you'll be able to kill him with Gromash anyway. Kill to Zad seems like the safest play ever.
Yeah, I think Hype realizes he's so close to potentially closing this game that he doesn't want to give up. True Silver Champion off the top for Haibara.
One to Slime is immortal, and it will be so annoying.
This Sludge Belcher card always impresses me. Never fails.
The metagame
And this
changed so
Kel'Thuzad
much.
is immune from equality. Both equalities have been used.
Yeah, right now he only has the minions. Do you play Ragnaros here? And being Haibara, I would probably do it.
Gosh.
Ragnaros into...
If he
oh,
doesn't, it's actually, let's see. There's 4 damage. There's 21 damage coming on his way next turn, maximum.
Well, he can play the Sludge Belcher if he really wants to. You know what's scary? Like, even if Tyrion is played, it's still
He's just gonna get shield slam executed the next turn.
Yeah, exactly, with the 1/2.
Yep.
Oh my god,
Ragnaros
he's
is
going
his best
for it.
shot. It
Needs
needs
to
to
hit
hit
6/8.
Kel'Thuzad. And Haibara puts it all the trust in this one card to do work for him once again. No, and
No,
that
it's-
should be game. Hype will be
That's it.
advancing to the top 4.
He wants to concede. Well played from
Oh, what
Hypes.
such a close finish here for Haibara. 3 series in a row, or I believe 2 out of the 3 series went the distance, and one of them was at a game 4. The guy worked tirelessly through the open bracket, but now we'll be in 3rd place, and Hyped will be tied with Tyson record, but I believe because he won the head-to-head, he is going to go as the 1st seed. So, looking at the final standings and the bracket tomorrow, Hype will be playing Trump, and Kalento will be playing against Ties.
Oh man, I have to give it to Haibara. He made a splendid show. I really enjoyed his playstyle, his facial expressions. This guy rocks. I'll definitely follow him. And yeah, and Hype proved himself as well. Finally, he's getting to top 4. Hype from Templestorm. He's showing his creative deck building, his good decision making, even though he faced some luck from his opponent. After a very good decision of a high risk, high reward, he was still able to pull himself through. Exceptional player, and yeah, I'm hyped about the games. Like Kalento versus Ties will be interesting. Hype versus Trump. Oh man, this was an amazing series. I don't even know how many hours it was, but I'm still excited, and I could cast even more now. Like if we have another series, I'll be happy to cast it with you.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Same to you, man. I think you did a great job today. You highlighted some of the fun moments of the day. Just look at the game score overall in this group. 8-7, 8-7, 7-8, and 6-8. Very tightly contested. A few rolls of RNG could have completely turned around the results, and maybe Haibara and Maz would be the one advancing. Regardless, it seems like tomorrow's semifinals bracket has been set. Remember, the 1st and the 2nd seeds of respective groups will be playing each other. We also want to give this opportunity to remind you guys about the chance to win the Zeus Mini Cyberpower PC. Just go and check out VGVN with giveaway in the chat or at the bottom of the Twitch channel and find out more about this organization that's fighting for the rights of gamers and making sure they're properly represented in legislation in the Supreme Court in the United States. Just sign up for their newsletter. It takes less than a minute, and you get in the running to win a PC, which will be given away at the end of the tournament series. Other than that, also want to remind you guys that the YouTube VODs will be posted at youtube.com/OneNationOfGamers. If you type in YouTube in the chat, you can find out all the information with that. And finally, you can let us know how the games went for you guys if you had fun at Nimsh TV or at Froden on Twitter. Anything else you want to say, buddy, before we sign off?
It's perfect. I'm super hyped about the games tomorrow. So I guess that's it for today, and see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the supports. Give us some kappas at the end, and see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow will be at 6 p.m. Central European Time, noon Eastern Standard Time in North America. So same time as today. Right here on the Twitch channel, hit the follow button and you'll get a notification for when we go live. So from the One Nation of Gamers production crew, from Frodan and Nimsh, thank you so much for watching and have a good night. We'll see you guys tomorrow.